Hello, everyone. How's it going? Hi. Just give you a second to log in and join us. Maybe I'll make my face a bit bigger. How are you? Hit me up in the chat. Let me know that you're there. And I'm just going to check in on the chat. Hey, Aline. How's it going? Aline. I've got to get the French accent right. How are ya? Who else is out there? Poppy's there. Hello. Welcome. Miss Noid. Hello, Miss Noid. Spoke. What's up? Claudia. Hello. Maya. Hello. Yes, all the posse's back. Hello, Anna. Slim Go Fat. Hey. Cecile. Hey, Cecile. Hi, hi. Nice one. Okay. Anna. Hey, Anna. Amanda's there. Nice one. Angela's there. Hello. Hi, hi, hi. Cool. Okay, so I'm really excited about this. Mixing is my passion. Mixing is my vibe, and I, don't actually often get the opportunity to work on an SSL myself. So I was going to take this opportunity with both hands, and I wanted to do something special. Obviously, we wish we were all here together. And the obvious answer was for me to do an in-the-box mixing session. But I don't know, I just wanted to try to do something a little bit different and also underscore how analog processes and stuff actually inform like the way that you can approach your workflow when you're mixing. In fact, I think that's what the topic of, that's what the title of my talk today is about. Let me just put which one is it? Well, let me show you what I've got for you. I've got a bunch of different views. Hopefully that'll show up in a sec. And I want to give you a little bit of an insight into some of the hardware processes. Also, you can see the desk. I might need to put a light on that desk just to kind of light it up a little bit. And obviously going to talk through specifics about mixing, but I kind of want to have this kind of sense about what it feels like to be doing an analog mix for those of you who have never done that before. Okay, so that's something I was trying to think, like a lot of the stuff with Pathwaves, it's for me thinking about what I like, what did I wish that I could have had when I was coming up, and definitely mixing in the box stuff is important. Also people talking and giving a lecture, but I often just want to see people do their thing a little bit. So that's hopefully what I'm going to do today a bit for you all. So if you have questions, as always, throw the questions into the chat, and I'll come back into them kind of as I can. So let's go for the screen here. Okay. So as I said, I'm just going to remember, I've got lots of screens going on here. Oh, I have to do this. All right. I wonder if there's a faster way. We'll just do it this way. Okay. So in the box versus analog, I've kind of already said this, right? So mixing from an analog mindset is kind of what I'm talking about today, and what I want you to take from this session and to think about whether it could apply to you or not in your kind of workflow. I don't need these actually, so. If there's any problem with the sound, I'll check in a second. If there's any problem with the sound, just let me know. Okay, so so the mix that I've got for you today, I originally did in the box actually. So what I've done is I've laid it out, and I've actually laid it out exactly the way that I did it in the box, because the way I mix analog and the way I mix in the box are pretty much exactly the same. So that's kind of what we're going to look at today. So the first question that I wanted to put out there is, what even is mixing? So as always, I'm asking you questions. Put up your intuitions and your answers into the chat there. And to guide the answer to that question, like, what is your job as a mix engineer? What are you trying to achieve when you're mixing? What is and isn't mixing? Like, where are the boundaries there? And in relation to that, like, what is the difference between production and mixing? I think those lines are often blurred because production involves a lot of audio processing, right? And mixing involves a lot of audio processing. So the question I think is interesting for me is, what's the difference? Are they the same or are they not? Okay, so I'll give you a few seconds to kind of think about that, and I'll come back to that. Well, no, I won't. I'm going to check in right now. Okay, so Anna's saying, hang on, let me go into the chat bit here. So Anna is saying gain control, balancing, and levels. Yes. Okay, so definitely that is part of mixing for sure. I want to get a little bit more esoteric though. So what are you trying, like what is the big thing that you're trying to achieve when you're mixing? Are you, and how is it different from production? So I think that it's important to have this mindset correct. And let me give you some, again, as always, examples from my mistakes, let's say. When I wasn't clear about the difference between production and mixing, I had issues sometimes with producers that I mixed their work, that I changed the sound. I changed the integrity or the texture of the sound. And that's, not the good idea, because I got in the producer's way and I messed with their creative vision. So I needed to learn what my role was and wasn't. So we've got some really nice responses coming in here. Amanda says, yeah, we've actually touched on this morning. Creative decisions should be production and enhancements are mixing. Yes, exactly. Angela is saying, I wouldn't say that they're the same. When mixing, you're looking for harmony between all of the instruments. That's beautiful. Okay, so exactly. We've got all these different, my head goes a little bit weird when I mix, but I kind of see them as little people, maybe not people, but little entities, all of the instruments and the layers that I have. And they're working for the common good, which is the song and the message of the song. And one of the things for me is quite often when you're mixing, you find that there are parts in the song that are competing against each other. And you need to find a way for them to work together to uplift the song and to work for the groove, like the kick and the bass. Are they working together or are they working against each other? So I think that's something that's really important. Maya's saying, achieving clarity, maximizing the impact of the song as much as possible, making it sound like the best version of itself, if that makes sense. Yes, that's perfect, Maya. So making it sound like the best version of itself is like such a good mantra to have in your head. So, I'm going to talk a little bit. We kind of keep on going there. Great, my little people interpretation. So we'll keep on going, and as always, as I said as well, keep the questions coming in, but keep the conversation happening between yourselves whilst I'm mixing and all that kind of stuff to keep it lively. Okay, so let's go back to the PowerPoint. So I'm going to lay out, as I said, approaches to mixing from an analog perspective. So I'm going to share the way that I kind of approach and the way I conceive of my mix. Okay, so it's a little bit tied up there with my face. Maybe, oh no, it's okay. Right. What are the stages in a mix? I think that a mix is a big thing. It involves your brain to go zoom in on really, really small detail and then zoom out and think big picture all the time. There's kind of a lot of moving around. And if you don't have a kind of a plan or a roadmap or markers or something like that, it's very, very easy to get lost. Again, all of this stuff is speaking from experience when I've completely lost my way. So for me, I think it helps a lot for me to, and maybe it's just my Virgo brain, but it really helps for me to have a sense of what are the compartments? What are the stages that I need to go through in this? It also helps me, because I can get really obsessive about stuff, to be like, oh my gosh, enough already, move on to the next bit, So here I share with you my approach. So as I say here, setup, routing, gear decisions, and gain staging is my first step. Okay, so every mix starts with this. Again, it's kind of like me also quite often when I'm working for a client, if you are doing your own mixes, it feels a little bit different because you know the song. But as you start mixing for other people, you don't know the song at all. So the setup period is, for me, it's my chance to get to know the song. So I sit with it, I'm soloing the instruments, I'm doing what's called discovery and framing. There's a really good book by a guy called Mixer Man, and it's called Zen and the Art of Mixing. And I love it. It's really, really interesting. It's a really kind of easy read kind of book. So I encourage, particularly now in lockdown, it's the kind of book, it's a page turner. A page turner about mixing? Yes, it is. And it's beautiful. So it's also got the kind of, the vibes, the mindfulness vibes that I'm into. So anyway, he talks about discovery and framing. And I think it's a really, what is discovery and framing? It's about learning about the song, finding out about what things are the kind of amazing, the bits about the song that make you go, oh, that's the stuff that we want to uplift. Then also on the other side, the things about the song that are maybe problematic that you might need to spend some time working on. So we want to get a sense of the song. I'm listening to the song as I go. I'm listening to my references as I go, the references that I also got from the client, and really trying to make sure that I'm getting my head, aligned in the right way to make sure that when I start audio processing, which is what most people think of when they think of mixing, when I start that I'm in a flow state and I'm ready to go and I know what I'm doing and I'm clear about it, and it kind of becomes more like a performance, if you will. Okay, so that's the setup stage. The second stage is when we get into the mixing proper, which is the audio processing. So for me, I break those into kind of two parts. The first part is EQ and compression part for me. And I do EQ and compression at the same time quite often. And for me, the focus here is maximizing the inherent quality of each of the sounds, of the little people or the little vibes that I've got on one side, and then also making sure that I'm working for the good and that they're actually working together in the song. So this is this balance that I go through and do. There's a saying from another book that I actually can't remember the name of at the moment. But anyway, the saying is, let me get it right. Maximum impact, minimum voltage. Okay, so that means with something like a kick drum, I want my kick drum to be thunderous, but I don't want it to be blowing out the levels when there's nothing else playing with it, because as soon as I bring in the bass and the synths and the vocals, well, we're going to be clipping. So I need to find a way to make that kick drum thunderous by identifying the thunder parts of it, getting rid of the bits that might be taking up sound energy, that other instruments might have space to get in there, and then blending them. So that's a really big thing that I'm thinking about, which involves both compression and EQ. Okay. I see that there are a few comments and stuff there. I'll check in a little bit. So then once I've done that and I've got everything like tight and clean and sounding really good and I can't hear any annoying stuff, then I start to make it sound lush. And then that for me means spatial and dimension processing. So, and this is a very specific thing. I don't do spatial processing until after I've got my EQ and compression really sorted. Now, again, this is just my way. I'm not saying it's the only way. But for me, the reason that I've started really doing that was as soon as you put a reverb on, it just sounds good. You kind of like, you stop paying attention to the little transients or the problem in the, 350 hertz or something. So, and you start to get distracted, or it takes you somewhere else, because that's the nature of it. It takes you into this time-space experience and you start flying around with the sounds more. So for me, it's more helpful if I get be serious, get the EQ and compression, get the song really cleaned up and really good, and then I start to add the color and the flavor and and play around with it, and it's much more successful for me. So I've been doing that for probably 2 years, I guess, and I feel like my mixes are a lot better because of it. And then the final thing, we've got the song sounding really good. I've probably, for the most part, been looping this, and just concentrating on one kind of section of the song. So after I've been doing that, then I need to zoom out and start to think, okay, where's the journey of this song? Where are we going? Have I got everything? So this for me then is the playthrough, and I wrote here building the narrative, right? So building the narrative and making sure that the vibe is like as it should be. So here I'm really checking back in and checking with my references and my notes that I made when I was doing discovery and framing, right? And so for this, I'm thinking about the song I'm doing playthrough from the beginning to the end. I'm really focusing on my transitions, and I'm starting to do automations. Now, this is macro, so basically automations on my subgroups, on my VCA groups, on my submix groups and stuff like that, because I want to move the kind of the sub layers of things rather than the little nuances. So like an automation of a hi-hat doing a pan thing, well, I'd do that in stage 4, okay, so the spatial and dimension processing. But this final bit, we're making adjustments to the kind of the larger context of the song, and this is driving the narrative and the energy. Let me give you an example. Moving into the first chorus, perhaps, of a pop song, I might push up the drums as we go into the chorus, and then after the chorus, back into the verse, I'll touch them back a bit. You know, we always have headroom. The second chorus will be louder than the first chorus. Things like that. Okay, so it's subgroups, and it's also the master bus as well. It's something that you can automate as well. And that's it. And once I've got to that, then I like to do mixes as a performance. So I print like 5 mixes in real time. Even if I'm doing it in the box, the way that I do my routing and stuff like that, I want to play it through, and I try to be in it and see if there's little adjustments and things that I can do. I like to use faders. So if I'm not using like an SSL or something, I have, controllers and stuff like that, which I think is cool. But either way, whatever. Right. Okay. So that's kind of where it's at. Now I'm going to check in with the chat for a little bit, and then I'm going to move on to some more demonstration stuff. Oh, Julie's there. Hi, baby. Cool. Okay. So just a few. Yeah, faders. Angela's all about the faders. The book. Okay. Yeah, Zen and the Art of Mixing. Maya told everyone already, so that's cool. Okay. So again, questions, if you've got questions, knock them in. Right, okay, so let's see where we're at. So what are the stages of the mix? Now, I want to go through all of those a little bit. But first, I think I should play the mix that I've got. Julie, if you're still there, you'll know this track. Okay, I'm going to mute myself and let's see how we go. Yeah. Did that? Yeah. Can you hear me now? Yeah. So, okay, so that's the track that I'm working with. And now maybe just point it onto I want it to kind of go on the desk a little bit more. So, okay, so no audio. Damn. Okay, hang on a sec, everyone. One sec. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so can you hear me though? You can hear me, right? Phew. Thought I did check this. Wasn't something to do with this, was it? No, it shouldn't be. All right, just hold tight, everyone. We'll figure this out. Okay. Could you see if it's? Can you try on just to help me with the sound? Headphones, yeah. I wonder why not. No, yeah, it's coming through here. Okay, Ron. So sorry, I'm gonna have to still work on this. Don't know why it's not working. Sorry, y'all. Live streaming in action. You getting it now? No, yeah, it wasn't coming through it was just coming through the mic, I think. So I'm playing it now. You should be hearing it. No. Damn it. Don't know how to fix this actually. Damn. Let's see. Aux 2. Sorry everyone, still trying to figure it. Oh, I really tested this like a million times. I feel like the only thing that I can do is to cancel the stream and start again. Because it's kind of key, right? Okay, y'all, right. What I'm going to do is I need to figure this out. Sorry about this. I'm going to stop the stream now and then fix this and we'll send out a new link, okay? So everyone stand by. Really sorry about this. We'll be back. All right.